global movement and the leader in visibility conferences for women founders through stages and community. Who's up next in the golden chair? Join us. I'm your host, Christina Vidovich of Women Getting Visible. Well, hello everyone around the world who is watching this today. I'm Christina Vidovich, the host of Women Getting Visible. You probably got that. Today is an absolutely special episode. I'm not even in my regular space because this is the start of Podcasthon. Yes, podcasters from around the world are taking part of this wonderful event. So I'm going to read my cues. This year, I am a proud participant of Podcasthon, the world's largest charity podcast event. And I'm dedicating this episode of my podcast to support a charity and a cause that I believe truly matters. My charity is No Kid Hungry, and here's why. 1 in 5 kids in the United States is living with hunger. That's 14 million children. And this has increased from a year ago. Some of these children are missing meals. Others are faced with daily uncertainty about food as their parents are making trade-offs between buying groceries or paying their bills. But for so many children to go without adequate food in the United States is a tragedy and a crisis. Today, No Kid Hungry is working to rapidly increase the number of kids reached by federal summer nutrition and school meal programs. They are also building a stronger future for kids by making sure they get healthy meals through robust nutrition programs like SNAP. We know that ending childhood hunger depends on families having the ability to create long-term financial stability. And that's why No Kid Hungry is investing in solutions that will make it easier for parents, especially single moms, to grow their income by continuing to support state-level policies such as increasing the child tax credit. There are many ways you can donate to feed hungry kids and support No Kid Hungry's work and ensure that every child in America gets the food they need. Visit nokidhungry.com and learn more. If that doesn't move you, I don't know what will. There's so many charities this week that are being shared by the Podcasthon, and this one rung out to me. And on with the show. Today is Visibility, Your Voice Matters. So I want to talk about stories, lessons, experience, and how you share can create a ripple effect beyond your immediate circle, especially when you're showing up from your clarity, your alignment, and to your visible purpose. So there are so many things that I share when it comes to visibility, being the visibility expert, the visibility queen, as I was called today. Oh, I love it. But it's more than just me standing on my soapbox talking about visibility. It is being a cheerleader for you to get you up on that soapbox too. We have no idea how much our voice rings out like a bell. The stories we tell, the stories we're ready to tell, and how they can bring light to other people. It's why I started podcasting in the first place. Women's Health, Wealth, and Happiness interviews to inspire, so that I could share women's stories around the world and where we are as women on our journey of our health, our wealth, and our happiness. And it's amazing, as we know, there are so many times when those stories overlap with other women, and you think, wow, a woman in Australia is going through the exact same thing I am. The woman in India has these same dreams that I do? Yes, that is the beauty of sharing our voice. When we hear these stories from around the world, just like beautiful movies and documentaries, we all have heart. We all fall in love. We all have things that matter in our life. So when we can share those stories with others, we have no idea about the ripple effect. that we're going to create. That time that you didn't get the promotion that you thought you were going to get, and the emotions that you went through and how you recovered. Your story can help somebody else get through that same emotion. Maybe it's not the exact same thing, but the emotion is there. And that's what matters. How do we overcome those obstacles in our life? When you speak, your voice resounds bigger than the room that you're in. And that is one of the reasons your voice matters. Community. One of the things I talk about in visibility is being part of community. Community is an amplifier. Your voice can grow stronger and have greater impact when you connect with other people in intentional communities. It is wonderful to be online and find these communities around the world. It is another wonderful thing when you step into the room as yourself, your colorful self, your fun self, your smiling self, your warm self, to be able to hug and handshake other people that you may have never met other than online, and you may have never met until that day. And you walk away with a new friend. So building that community together and sharing story in person. Think about it for a moment. You haven't seen a friend since school. Maybe it's elementary, maybe it's high school, maybe it's college, university. And you have, maybe it's a Zoom call, maybe it's a coffee. Think about all the stories you get to share. And you know, when you hear those stories, they don't stop with you. It's back to the ripple effect. Now you're sharing these incredible stories about someone you haven't spoken with and sharing that wisdom that you've learned with someone else. This is part of that impact. It's like this wonderful woman that I met, and she invited me to have dinner with her and told me her life story. She was 81, 82 at the time. And I heard from her childhood at 8 years old, growing up after World War II, pulling the little berries as soon as the flower turned into that berry off the tree to eat it, because that's how hungry the children were. Isn't that interesting that the theme today would be no child hungry? Why do we want to let that happen? But that's how impactful our stories are when we share. And that I'm sharing with you today because it was so impactful that she shared that with me. And part of her journey of coming to America without speaking the language, without having all the education that others had, creating business after business, becoming a multimillionaire, and then losing it all. But she still had her pride, and she still had her stories and people who cared about her. And that is part of building your community. People who are going to be there to support you in the good times and the bad, and finding those aligned communities. You don't need somebody to naysay the things that you're doing. Maybe they want to give advice and share their experience, but remember, it's still their experience. You have your own story to make, and you're doing it every day. So find those communities and find those people that resonate with you, that you want to be around, and continue to share your story and let them ripple out so others have the opportunity to learn from you. I want to take this moment to talk a little bit more about Podcasthon. This dedication and the coordination is from an organized team completely made up of volunteers. This year is the 4th or 5th edition, I believe now, of bringing podcasters from around the world together for charity. Traditional fundraising methods are usually charity galas, marathons, auctions that require budgets, exclusive access, and a short-lived engagement. You're in the room and you're gone home for the night. The concept of Podcastathon was to reach new audiences and create long-term connections and podcasting for good by leveraging technology, storytelling, and community engagement around the world. Podcastathon is hoping to inspire millions of listeners not only to care, but to act. And each of us can make a difference by one listen and one podcast at a time. So the podcast hosts are all dedicating one episode of their shows to a charity of their choice, and then release these episodes simultaneously in a coordinated effort for 1 week in March. And today is the beginning of that week. So you'll know if your regular podcasts are part of that, if they've joined it and mentioning their episodes this week. You can also look for the hashtag Podcastathon. Check it out. There are nearly 2,000 or more podcasts who have joined this massive and international wave of inspiring audio content. And simply the objective is to raise awareness for a huge number of charities worldwide. It is the biggest charity event in the podcasting world and an incredible, fast-growing nonprofit initiative that unites thousands of podcasters and listeners globally. And if this nonprofit, No Kid Hungry, that I have chosen resonates with you, take a moment and look it up and see where you can support hungry children to get the food they need. And now it's time for our mid-roll break to talk about our visibility accountability group. And if you just want to dance, just dance. It's fun.
Share your story, own your name, step in the light, ignite your flame, show up, shine out, it's time to be heard, flip fear into power with every word, visibility, accountability, we write a wild new legacy.
And I love that right there. We write our wild new legacy. And that's part 3 for me today. Your voice matters in legacy. Your voice is your legacy in motion. Think about that for a moment. Every day that you have a chance to share your story, to share your experience, you're leaving legacy for someone else to live, to learn, and to be in that moment with you. And echo it. They are keeping your story alive. And there are so many ways that you can share your story through speaking, through podcasting, through writing, being a mentor. And your experience, your stories continue to inspire others. And I want you to remember, your stories are your superpower. So what I'm going to ask you today is, what is your story? Why is it important to share? And how do you want to tell others your story? This is your time for your own visibility. Your voice matters, and I'm here to remind you of that. So if you want to learn more about what I'm doing for women in visibility and anyone in visibility, come see me at WomenGettingVisible.com. Find me on LinkedIn, Christina Vidovich, and let's get on your visibility journey, because your voice matters. Who's up next in the golden chair? Join us next week. I'm your host, Christina Vidovich of Women Getting Visible.